Now let's take a look at the second question on the practice exam for exam 2. It is implicit differentiation. So let me get started here. So the idea is to take the derivative with respect to x of both sides. Then, okay, so that's the first thing you do. Then you collect the y primes. Uh, and so I think this is the same thing as just solving for y prime, right? So that's what I mean. So let me take a look at a first. So when I take d dx of everything here, since y is not the variable x, primes pop out. So on the left hand here I get y prime, and this negative 1 just vanishes because it's just a constant, it goes to 0. Now here I've got to do the product rule. So I'm going to think of the product rule here. This is one part, this is another part. This is a mustache of a shocked man wearing wireframe glasses. This is one part, this is the other part. We're going to use the product rule. The derivative of x is 1, so that just gives tan y. Okay, plus, now x stays the same, and I use the chain rule on this part. I get secant squared y, and then of course, by the chain rule, y prime pops out. And so I have two y primes, as you can see. And so now my mission is to solve for y prime. So I need to collect these things. So what I'm going to do is put this one over here, right? I want the y primes to get close to each other. So what happens when I do that? I get y prime minus x secant squared y prime is equal to tan y. Okay, and now I factor out these y primes. Okay, so if you're like, what's factoring? Then you need to come talk to me or something. So these are in common, so I can pull them outside, and let me do that. So that gives me y prime times 1 minus x secant squared y is equal to tan y. And now one very last thing, right, to divide by the thing. So that gives me y prime is equal to tan y divided by 1 minus x secant squared y. And that is the answer. Okay, so that's the answer to A. And so there's one part left. So I'll just leave that on the screen for another second. Okay, now let's go do the second one. I think this second one is much easier. So get rid of this scary picture. And okay, maybe one more time. So now let's do this one. So it's sine xy equals x squared minus 1. This is going to be much easier because there is only one y, so I don't have to do that hard algebra at the end. So what happens when I take d dx of both sides here? On the left, I get cosine xy, and now by the chain rule, I owe you the derivative of x times y. And to do that, I have to use the product rule, right? So product rule one part, the other part. So first I have y, and now it's plus x stays the same, and it's y prime. Okay. And on the other side, this is very easy. So you just get 2x. All right. So I want to start solving for y prime. So what do? Well, I want to kind of crack open this little oyster of algebraic deliciousness. And so I need to divide both sides, by cosine xy. So let me do that. So I get y plus xy prime is equal to 2x over cosine xy. Okay, and what now? So sometimes you have to do things that just make everything really ugly, but you've got to grit your teeth. Sometimes it just works out in an ugly way. Now I subtract y from both sides because this needs to get lost, right? It needs to go like over here or something. So that gives me xy prime is equal to 2x over cosine xy minus y. Okay, and just one very last thing to do is to get rid of this x. So I do that by dividing through. Now y prime is equal to 1 over x times everything that was already there before. Cosine xy minus y. And this is it. Okay, so that's how you do part B. So I think both of those questions are fairly easy. But the algebra is not so easy that you couldn't make a mistake. So, alright. But that's the end of the problem, and I'll see you in the next problem.